Let's go. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go! Let's go! Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Welcome to another episode of Demystify Tech with Sam. Today it's Sunday, and on Sundays we try to do cool stuff. I am your host, Samuel Atrani, as always. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Microsoft Azure App Service. I'll be talking about setting up deployment slot and deploying from our local environment to a slot and switching it, production, dev or user acceptance slot. I'll show you how to do that. So when we come back, that is what we are going to work on. So, welcome back again. So, this past week was Microsoft Ignite. Awesome, awesome, awesome event. A lot of, announcements, lots of cool stuff, lots of engaging sessions, lots of new announcement. If you missed it out, I know that there are a lot of on-demand sessions, available on the Ignite website or the Microsoft website, and even on Channel 9, I believe so. So connect to those, social media endpoints for Microsoft and also for Ignite, and look at the videos. Yeah, they might be a bit lengthy, but then they have a lot of stuff in there for you. So today, what are we going to talk about? So we started last week talking about the Azure App Service. We deployed a simple application to the web app. Today I'm going to show you how to set up deployment slots. I'm going to talk about what deployment slots are in Microsoft Azure. So most times when you develop applications, you want that ability to deploy. Let's say you've made some changes and you want to push it to, let's say, testing or staging to make sure that the changes are there, and you don't want to affect production, because if you push it directly to production and something breaks, it means that all your active users are going to be affected with it. So Microsoft Azure App Service has something called deployment slots that allows you to create kind of like different environments, and then you can deploy your application in one environment, let's say staging or testing, make sure everything is okay, and if it's okay, you can actually swap from that endpoint to the production endpoint. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So let's go pick up our project. So where did we leave off? And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ask me any questions. I'm available to ask you, um, answer any questions for you. So just hit me up. Hey, this is a relaxed environment. If you have any specific questions, things you want to know, just tell me and I will try to find an answer for you. So let's get into it. So last week we did a very basic node application. We deployed it to app service. Hopefully I can find that. So let's go to my super deployment environment. So let's go here. I'm sure by now a lot of people know where my files are on my machine. Like, oh, I know you keep stuff in your repo. That's okay, don't worry. Let's see. Let's get it. Today I have a secret guest in my office. I have a secret guest here, but he doesn't want to show his face. So hey, that's okay. We're going to have all the fun. And if I'm sure he's monitoring our feed. So if you ask any questions, he might be the one to answer that for you. Okay, so we are in Demystify. Let's check what we have there. Oh yeah, I missed that. So let's code into this and see what we have. Hopefully we didn't miss that out. So a lot of people think that um, I'm always about picture perfect, but that's not the case. So the reason why I do the specific Sunday shows is just to walk you through how I do stuff. You see me in most cases going to Google stuff online, things I don't understand or things I'm trying to figure out how to use them. And technically that is how it works. That is how the app service, that's how, like, as an application developer or software developer, that's how it works. We don't know it all. So I try to walk you through that journey to understand that, hey, you don't have to be a super person to do programming. You can always, have fun. Just learn. That's a key thing. And so let's go ahead and run our application and be sure that it's running. And once we do that, I remember that last week I showed you that there are actually you can add different node modules to your application, and then you can call them, and we set up the node start as a script for application. So hope you remember that. If you don't, ask me and I would refresh your memory. Awesome. So let's do this. Let's do mm -mm, mhm. I think the zoom level should be okay now. So if it's not okay for you, just prompt me. I would zoom in a bit more. So let's see what we have here. So node app.js. Let's see. Oh, it's saying that what? Cannot find module express. Okay, so we can't find module express. So it means that something happened. Okay, let's see this. Open recent. That would be repo. Demystify repo. Ba, 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 bum. Let's try repo demystify. That looks like the only only cool app for us. Okay, so whilst we do that, let me open my app service so we can see that. Let me zoom in here, because that's where we deployed it. So, and then nope, that is not the correct account. Yes, and I'm sure if you're following me on Twitter, you would have noticed that I've been trying to figure out an easy way for, especially for us here in Africa, in the sub region, to be able to subscribe to Azure and other cloud services with, without a credit card, but with, with a mobile wallet thing. So I'm still investigating and trying to do some research around that. Um, if I find something that really works, I'll let you know. I'm currently exploring a particular app. I don't want to spell it out right now because I want to be sure I can do that, and then I'll share that information with you guys. So just keep it locked, and then hmm, let's see. Pum, 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 pum. Okay. Okay, there we go. Let's get our app service. So that was so our app service, I believe, was OmniPost. Yes, so OmniPost was the project we're working on. So I'm going to open the OmniPost app service, and I mentioned that this is going to be a stream. It's going to produce an endpoint. I mentioned that I have a couple of social channels. So OmniPost we're trying to build is a simple application that would allow us to, like, kind of like write a post and push it to all our social media endpoints. So like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. That's what we're trying to build. So what I'm trying to do in this series of episodes is to show you the working process. So last week we created a simple application. We're using Express, and we did a deployment into Microsoft Azure App Services, and it's running. So because right now if you go to omnipost.azurewebsites.net, if I should put that here, you should see that we have Hello Africa, which was the only thing we did last week because our node application was a very basic one. So let's actually do that. I think it's yeah, Omni Post, and then let's code into that. And then we also added some source control in there, so we could actually um, check coding into GitHub and all that. And I mentioned that this is going to be an open source project, so you would actually have access to it. So not to worry too much about that. So yep. Now let's see. Let's go in there. Let's open OmniPost. Let's go to the deployments center, which is where we have our deployment. So this is going to show us where we are fetching our data from. So if you look at this URL, this is where OmniPost is. So GitHub Demystify. I'm going to copy that because I realized that in my um, yeah. So I realized that in my local machine, the file is not there. So I'm going to take you through that process. So simply all I'll do is I'll actually go to that endpoint in GitHub and then just click here, copy the URL for the GitHub repository, and then I'll come back to the OmniPost and then I'll just do git clone, paste that here, and use a dot. So because I'm already in a folder called OmniPost and I'm doing, I'm pulling or cloning files into it, the dot tells me that it should actually pull the files into that folder, the current folder I'm in. If I omit the dot, that means that it should just create a new folder called OmniPost. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I did close instead of clone. Yep. So we change this. Or exist. Yeah, we know that exists. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to minimize this and I'm going to open our index file, and then let's just copy this, everything in the index. Let's come here to, and then I'm just going to do this, add just that index.js. Yeah, save this, and yep, we should be fine. So now if I do node and do index.js, uh-oh, where's that Express? Oh, we don't have that in here. Well, that's a very simple fix. So let's do this and do npm install Express, right? And that's going to install Express into our node modules, because our application is dependent on Express. So I have that done. I can now do node index.js. Yep. Let me allow that access, and now node is running on port 3000. And then, just like magic, if I open my browser and I go to localhost 3000, there you go, we see Africa. All right, so now we have the app running. So let me go ahead and change this again. So we see that we can actually make changes and deploy. So I'm going to say hello Ghana. I'm saving this, and then just give it a while. If we go back to my Azure portal, you would actually see that. So this is localhost, right? And now this is the one on Azure, but this is still going to show Africa. But if we go into our deployment center and I refresh, it's going to look out for the change. Now once I make the change and we come back to the production environment or the live environment in Azure, I should see that it's hello Ghana. So how do I propagate that? So come back into the code editor, and then I can actually do this from here, or I can do it from the command prompt. So I'm going to stop this, and then I'll do git status, Says that not to get of the parent. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna close this out. Let's come back here. Actually, let me do this. Bum, bum, bum. Awesome. So let's do this. Repo. Now don't forget that there are a lot of resources on Azure. Like I posted stuff last week on the Microsoft LAN. Let me actually show you that. The Microsoft LAN platform that actually has a lot of, step by step and guided tutorials for you to, learn pretty much anything Azure. Yeah. So as you can see, it looks like they had a revamp of their website. Pretty cool. So if you go to docs.microsoft.com/learn, you'll see getting started, Azure fundamentals, Office 365, Dynamics, pretty much everything on the Microsoft stack. They've got you covered. So be smart, free for all. Microsoft also has partnership with Pluralsight. So there are a lot of Pluralsight content that you can do for free on Pluralsight. So don't slack. People are like, oh, there's no resource. How can I do this? Well, you have all the resources at your disposal. So you just have to make do with it. So yeah, I'm going to go in here and let's do this again. Git clone this. Oh, okay. Is that? Let's copy this. Come back to our Git repo. So you realize that if I didn't have this in source control, I would have to, I would have had to start all over again. But because I had in source control, I can always clone this into this, and I have a copy of the code. So if you wanted to work on it as well, hey, go clone it. It's open source. Go clone it and mess around with it. So today I'll try to do the deployment slot, and I'll also show you right now we're using. Let me go back to the deployment center and show you something. So right now we're using Kudu. We're using the native deployment on Azure. We are not using DevOps or Azure DevOps or Azure, CI/CD pipeline. So what I'll do today is that I will change it, and this is why I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it because I want to use Azure DevOps bots, and then list out all the features we want to have in the application and create kind of like a backlog in stories, so I can pick from that and work on it. Not that I can't do that from using GitHub. I could create issues. So the issues will be probably the features, and I can pick that as well. But I'll be using Azure DevOps. It's just for a particular reason, that hey, we love Azure DevOps, don't we? Don't we, my guest in the studio? Don't we love Azure DevOps? We do. Yep. So let's get into it. Yep. We have code open. There you go. GitHub, everything is logged in. We have our Express, which is there. We have our index file, which is here. So let's change this. We change this to Ghana. We save this now. And Visual Studio Code, awesome tool. I keep mentioning it. I can't stress that much on it. So because I changed the Africa to Ghana, all right. Now as you see here in my GitHub extension in Visual Studio Code that a change has happened. So I just say, well, changed welcome message. Now when I do this and then I just say apply, this is actually adding a comment, just like you would do git, commit, and then you add it. And then now, before then, let me show you this so you can understand the concept. So from here, if you look at the deployment logs, we only have 3 deployments, and this is the last active one, and this is the change that I did. Now I'm going to go ahead and just hit push. And with this, what's happening is that I'm pushing the changes back to GitHub. I've made changes. I'm saying, hey GitHub, I've made changes. These are the changes. And then what the Kudu environment does, now if you look closely, you see that it's changed immediately, saying that it's pending. It's pulling and waiting for that commit to happen. And as you can see, changed. I didn't finish typing a welcome, so just saying changed whatever that meant. But it's running the build in the background. And if you look here, if you look at the production environment, all right, if you look at the production environment, it's still showing Africa. But when we come back and wait for that. Once the build is complete, it's going to say success and it's going to put active there, which means that my production environment is using that particular commit or that particular change as the active one. Now, that is not the best practice, but this is just to illustrate how the change works. Now, as you can see, it's changed. It's saying that now this is the active one. So now if I go to production and I refresh, I should see hello world Ghana instead of Africa. Let's see if that worked. There you go. So it's changed. So our change has been propagated. Now, what happens if there was something wrong with the code and I pushed? Now, this is just, taking away the fact that we didn't go through any code review, which is not a best practice. But in cases it happens, something happened to the application, and all I did was just have one endpoint, and I just pushed the whole thing into production. What's going to happen is that production is going to break, and all your clients or all the people using the application now will start saying bad reviews or comments about you. Hey, the application is down and all that crazy stuff. So that is the more reason why we need deployment slots, and I'm going to illustrate that right now. So I'm going to deliberately include or actually put a bug in the application. So let's say so let's say I'm going to remove this. All right, I'm going to remove the route. Let's say there is no route. I just put this here, right? There's no route, or pretty much even routes. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to comment this out, and this is just to show that, hey, if something messed up and you pushed it, you won't have that opportunity. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to comment express out. Express is required by our route, but now a developer made a change and he nuked express, and then he changed this, and then he went out and said, oh, added new feature, and then went ahead to commit this change, and then went ahead to push this change into production. Now, mind you, you only have one environment, which is the production environment. So this change the person has done is going straight into production. Now let's come here. Look at this. So back in Azure, it says pending. It's about to build. Now, it's building. It's going to build and do all this crazy stuff. Now, what is going to happen after it successfully builds this application is that this application has errors, and it was pushed to the only environment you have, which is production. Now you have 1 million customers on that production, application, and now someone just messed it up. If you refresh this, we have a problem. All right. So how do we prevent this from happening? And that is what we're going to do today. So today I'm going to show you how to create deployment slots so that developers or your team can have a place to push their changes, make sure it's working. And once we are happy with the change, we're going to flip it. So let's go ahead and do that. Once we do that, I'm going to now add the Azure DevOps to my pipeline instead of using Kudu. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come back into my production and say, we're leaving this here. Let me fix this back right now. Okay, cool. So to use deployment slots, bear in mind that you need specific app service plans. Not all app service plans support slots. So to kind of bring this to you, let's go back to the docs.microsoft.com and let's go to Azure. I want to show you the stuff. So let's go to, actually we can do it right here. So I'm going to go to the overview of my app, and let's go here so you can see it. Now, so my configuration will give me the settings here, and then let's go to the the app service plan, and we can see. So let's go to the app service plan here. Now, when we open the app service plan, it tells you I'm using, it tells you the app service plan I'm using. All right. So let's go down. Let's go. Okay. So we have our app here running on Linux, and yep, okay, there we go, there we go. All right, so here, if I click on the app service plan, all right, you realize that there are different tiers. There's developer testing, there's production, and if you want to have your isolated environment, you can. Currently, you're testing things out. You want to use dev test, that's fine. But for the sake of showing you the options, right now we've selected S1, which gives me a total of 100 Azure compute units, 1.7 gigs of memory, and all that, blah blah blah. But this includes custom domain SSL. And once we are done with the application, I'm going to actually try to get a custom domain from within Azure. You can see how simple that is. Now, auto scale with this particular app service plan that I have, I can auto scale up to 10 instances, right? I can do daily backups. I have a traffic manager, all right? What else? What else do I have? What else do I have? What else do I have? So this gives me an idea of, the features that I have, in this. Now, you can see the staging slots. This is what I'm more concerned about. I can have up to 5 staging slots to use for testing and development before swapping them. So which means currently, because I don't have any slots, this is automatic production, right? But now I can have multiple, up to 5, based on this particular app service plan I'm using. If I decided to go, let's say, if you go to dev test, all right, and then you selected free, which is 1 gig 60 minutes a day compute, you see that I don't have any slots option. If I go to B1, I also don't have any slots. But for my S1, I have up to 5 staging slots. So make sure that you select the right app service plan. That's going to give you the staging the slots. So once we know that our app service plan can support that, all you need to do now is go to deployment slots and a deployment in your app service. So I go to deployment, and as you can see, the only one we have is production, and it's getting 100% of the traffic. Now the cool thing about staging or deployment slots is that I could also create like A and B testing. I could deploy some features to a particular endpoint or a particular slot, and then leave some out, and then have my users test it. Now when you do that, you're kind of testing and making sure that this particular feature is being accepted by a number of users on your platform. So that's another cool thing. So to add an app slot, what you do is that you click on add slot and you give it a name. So currently, let's just go ahead and say we want to call this, just dev. Let's say this is called development. Yep. And we are not cloning anything because as of now I don't have any settings somewhere that I'm bringing. But just to confirm that, I'm going to cancel this first. Let me go to my, yes, okay, I'm going to cancel this. Let's go to configuration, which is where we have all our settings for this. And as you can see, it's just app inside, application inside. That's all. We don't have any custom settings, so we are good. So we go back to the slots, deployment slots. I click on add, and we're going to call this development. All right, and then there's nothing to clone. I'll click add. So if I had specific if I had setting application configuration, so what you might call environmental variables in the production environment, I could clone that into my my new slot, so that I don't have to recreate them. So that's what that means. So it's going ahead to create the new slot for us, and what's happening is that it is going to give me another endpoint, right? So now if you look closely, I can actually determine how much traffic comes here. All right, but at the moment, this is the production environment, and all the traffic is going through production. So this is going to be my new endpoint. So if I go to omnipost dot dash development, this is what I'm going to get. So this is like a whole new area for my development. So you can see this is the URL. Copy this. Let's run this again. So it's going to run whatever you have currently now, okay, and then until I deploy into production, I won't see that change. So we're just checking this. With that, once that's happening, let me go ahead and just put my changes back. So we have the route here. Let's so hello Ghana 2019. Save this, and as usual, let me say changed welcome message. And then we check this, and then I'm going to push this. So this should be active in all the environments. We don't need this now. So let's go here. Now I don't have any deployment set up, for this yet. We don't have any deployment set up for this, and that's where I want to now use the Azure DevOps, to do that. So I can choose which environment, anytime the build happens, I can choose which environment takes what build. So now that we have, let's see, our deployment slot is all set up. Let's close this for now. Now that we have all our deployment slots set up, now I need to go in there and change to say that now I'm using Azure DevOps. All right. So to do this, I think we have one for I think we have one for Logic App. So let's just go ahead and do it. So I'm going to go back to the app, and now you can see that under where is, okay, let's go to, yep, OmniPost. So now if you go to our deployment slots, you can see we have production, and then we have development, right? All running. Cool. So let's go to deployment again. Let's go to deployment center, and then now there are a few changes that have happened here. So sync, we're syncing this, and if we go to our omnipost.azurewebsites.net, this should give us what we have in production. And if we go to omnipost development.azurewebsites.net, that should give us, yep, and you can see, so development is set up, but there's no CI/CD pipeline that is pushing the change to development, and that's what we're going to change. And there you go. So here, so production is showing hello Ghana. Development is showing nothing because we've not pushed anything yet. But let me show you quickly how the swap works. And once I show you how the swap works, we're going to go back and now set up using Azure DevOps. So look closely. This is development. All right, development is showing, hey, like just a blank welcome node application. And look at production. Production is now showing hello Ghana 2019. Close. So it's as easy as going to deployment slots and then using swap. So now when I hit swap from here, it's going to ask me what is the source, what's the target. So now the source of my swap is actually what? This is it, Omni development. And then let's see this. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead with let's enable slot settings with our, let's do the swap right here. Okay. So I'm doing this. I'm doing the swap. Now, because I'm using the same app service, and I know slot settings are being enabled on my environment, so I'm not worried that much. Now, there were some app setting instrumentations. I'm swapping those as well. Now, when you're going to use application slot or deployment slot, you need to be mindful when you are adding settings, or what we call environmental variables, because when you add them, you need to indicate whether they are slot values or they are general variables. If you don't specify that they are slot values, anytime you do a swap, it's going to copy those variables on to the new development slots that you've created. So you need to always make sure that you're clicking on slot values to keep it to the slot. So let's wait for that swap to happen. Now what's going to happen with the swap is that now production is going to have the very basic Azure page, and then development is now going to have what was on production, which is Hello Ghana 2019. So let's wait for it. Wait for it. hmm Yep, so we're not navigating away from it. We're doing that. So we're going to stay here for a while. So now, once that is happening, I believe we have. Let me go to my Azure DevOps. I should pin this so that we access it easily. Uh, pa, pa, pa. Yep. I always go through how do you call it, my Visual Studio. So in fact, let me do that. So just do my.visualstudio.com, and that should bring me here. Yep. So we have a swap. So swap has successfully been done. So now this was production. Let's refresh and see what production has. Now look at this. Now production doesn't have production doesn't have anything. It now has the default, landing page for when you create a node application. That's what production has now. Now, so let me just zoom this out. That's why you're seeing that. Now, if I go to omnipost.development, which is the new slot we created because we swapped this. Now, check this out. When I refresh it, now development is going to have Hello Ghana 2019. So that's how simple. That is how simple it is. So simple. That's the whole basis of swapping slots. But right now, we also want the question is, okay, so Sam, I've built a simple application. I have two deployment environments. How do I create a process whereby anytime I check in code, it goes to the development, slot for me to test and make sure it's okay before I swap. So you can do that in Azure DevOps. You can create what we call a pipeline. You can create environments and you can create releases. So what we're going to do now is using the Azure pipeline. We are not using the source control because our code is already in GitHub. So we're going to use the Azure pipelines to determine what happens when a change occurs. Now there I'll show you whether you want to do gated checkings, which means that you don't automatically publish to even any of the environment. Now I'm going through this because we're building up into creating our Omnipost application, and that's where it's going to be. So the idea is going to be that down the future, once we have a lot of features to build, people can actually go to the board and pick tags and create. Because it's kind of like I'm trying to do a social thing here. So let me go to my.visualstudio.com, and we logged in already, so we don't have to do that again. Hopefully we'll keep it under wrap 1 hour, just to get you to have fun. So Azure DevOps, I'll just click get started, and it's going to, because I'm already logged in to my account, it's going to connect and do that for me. Thank you. So I mentioned last week that something big is about to happen. Yes, something is going to happen on something is coming to town. Yeah, something is coming to town. You will know about it when it lands. Okay, so we have two organizations here. So this one organization, and we have one app on that organization. Omnipost. Well, the graphics people amongst us. I think I want to throw a challenge out there. Come up with a design for Omnipost, and I'm going to give you the gist of what Omnipost is. Again, probably if you're just joining, Omnipost is basically a simple application, like the name implies, that allows you to post onto multiple channels. So you can put in your message or your title or whatever, select the social media platforms you want, whether it is Twitter, Facebook, select it, and then when you hit post, that post, including any attachment or pictures or videos, whatever, should be sent to all the social media posts you've selected. Now, there's going to be a couple of things happening in there. We're going to use Azure functions. If you want to learn functions, I talk about functions on Fridays. We're going to use a lot of Azure services. We're going to use Azure storage because all your pictures, when you upload them, we need to put them in storage. All right. We're going to use Azure App Service, which we're seeing right now. We're going to use the Azure DevOps pipeline, which I'm going to show you to do. So we're just building on it, in bits, little by bit, little by little. We're building on it to get that done. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's get into it. So I have two organizations. So let me open Demystify. So Demystify is where I'll be creating a lot of the pipeline. So I think let's see. Let me go into Demystify. Add about this project. Well, I don't have anything on this project now. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. Let me go to project settings. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how that works. Okay. So I'm actually going ahead to set up. I'm going to delete this for now. Yes. Because I'm going to show you how to set it up, how to set the whole pipeline up. And yep, so we don't have any project here. Let me go here to Demystify. Let me go to organization settings. I want to change this because I don't. Yep, that is changed. Yep, the name has been changed. That's the overview. I don't have any project yet. Um, no extensions at the moment. I don't have any pipelines yet. We're going to create pipelines, so not to worry. Yep. So currently, so all I need. So this is going to be the URL to my. Let me change this. So Demystify technology. So I just want to create. Is not a valid. Let's see. Demystify tech. Okay, let's do this. Let's put a hyphen in there because sometimes it doesn't like it. Okay, techno Demystify. Okay, well, I'll just call it Demystify. That's fine. All right, there we go. Our time zone is UTC. We don't have any. Yeah, so that's it. So we have this is my organization here. So now we go to project. So now let's go ahead and add a project. So we're adding a new project. What's the project name? It's called OmniPost. Just give it a description. So OmniPost is a simple app for sharing content on all your social media platforms. Yeah, we missed a T. Yep. And this is a public, right? It's a public repo, so we make it public so people can access it. Oh, sorry, let me give you this so you can actually see from this side. Let me zoom in a bit, Yep. So it's public. And let's see. So version control is in Git. Work item process. So now, so the work item process is what you're going to use that determines how you use your Azure bots or Azure DevOps bots. Asking, do you want to use? Are you using Scrum? Are you using, Agile or using just the basic? So I mostly like to use Agile. Scrum is also not bad, but it's just just a preference. Or you can just stick with basic, and that gives you simple workflows, right? So hey, oh well, let's just stick to the basic. No, I like Agile, so I win. So yeah, great. So this is going to create a project for us, and we're now going to set up, the CI, which is continuous integration, and CD, which is continuous delivery. So that's what CI/CD or continuous deployment. It could be delivery deployment is used synonymously. So let's open our OmniPost app. So as you can see from the left, OmniPost, we can choose to, so we have like, this is the summary, this is the boards, this is the repo, the repositories. We are not using repositories because we have our repository already in GitHub. So we don't need that. But then these are the key things: pipelines, test plans, and then any artifact. Now, artifacts and test plans, if you have any test included in your application, those will be loaded. But the key thing we want to use is the bots. The bots is where I'm going to put, okay, the OmniPost should be able to send to Twitter, or OmniPost should like writing all our how do you call it, features or work items. And then the pipeline is where we're going to say that, okay, for this pipe, this is what happens when you commit files. Build it and push it here. So I'm going to do that, and then let's see. Do we have environment? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead to environment, and I'm going to create the environment. So I'm going to create production environment. So I'll just say OmniPost production. Okay. And resources. Yeah, we're going to add that later. So we're fine. And then I'm going to create. So let's go back, and then create another environment, and I'll call this development. Okay, development, and I'll just say OmniPost development environment. Yep, and yep, great. So now we have two environments. We have the development and production environment. All right. So the idea is that we're going to be doing some simple integrations here, where when I check in code, it has to go through one side, and then I can do a build that pushes it to another. So let's look at the deployment groups. I won't touch on that now because at this point it's not that relevant now. It's just a logical grouping of your, how do you call it, like your virtual agents or machines that run deployment for you. So won't talk on that. Now the key thing we'll be using here will be the pipelines. So the pipeline is what determines, where we build applications when we start. Now, two things I can do. I can define the pipeline from within Azure DevOps here, or I can actually define the pipeline from, let's go to the deployment center here. I can go ahead and do the deployment from my Azure portal. All right. So two ways we can do it. We can either do it from DevOps, Azure DevOps, or we can do it from Visual Studio. Sorry, from the Azure portal. So two things. So today I'm going to put it in. So you can see that they are all using the app service plan, but then this is just giving us some logical separation of where data should be put first. So I'm going to go ahead and create the pipeline within Azure DevOps. So let's go ahead and create a pipeline. So where is the source code? The source code is in GitHub. I've already connected my GitHub username, so it should show there. And as you can see, it's Demystify Azure. So we pick this up, and then it's configuring the pipeline. Now, what application are we running? Now, it's a Node.js Node Express application running on a Linux machine on Azure, right? It's a Node application running on Linux in Azure. So I'm going to select that. So this is going to build, create all that. What's going to happen is that it's going to create a YAML file and add to it. Now, it's looking for my subscription. And yes, this is my subscription, Visual Studio. Continue. It will ask me to log in. So if I don't want you to see it, I'll go to my magic secret screen, which is not anything you've not seen before. So I don't see why. I'm just feeling like pressing a button because it's been there. I've not pressed it for a while. So I just feel like pressing it. So you know that, it's there. Yep. Awesome. So, yep. Now, it's asking us for the web app name. So right now, we have the OmniPost. That is the web application, so validate and configure. So this is going to go out to my Azure portal, kind of connect with it, get all that information, creates the YAML file, puts it there for me, and then now my application will be able to build anytime I push files. So yep, so the YAML file is prepared for me. I just hit save and run. So now what name am I going to give this? Yeah, so it's a commit. So you're actually adding a YAML file to your GitHub repository. So set up CI with Azure pipelines. That's what I did. So save and run. So this is going to add a YAML file, Azure DevOps YAML file, pipeline file to my GitHub repository. So as you can see, this is it. It's created it. So now I have one staging. So these are the build jobs. I can expand that. Now when it builds, I need to set my deployment stage. Where should this go? All right. So yep, we can go ahead and say, yep, let's deploy this. Well, before then, well, the build is happening. So now, once that is happening, I'm going to come back to my local host and I'm going to run this command. And you see that now look at the files we have now. We don't have anything YAML. It's just our index, our package, the JSON file, and the log. So if I do get status, this should tell me what the branch is ahead. All right, on branch, your branch is up to date with master. Well, let's see what's happening. Let's say git pull. Let's see what just happened. Okay, so we are cool, waiting for the build to happen. So I hope this is, making sense. Just straightforward, nothing complicated, quite easy to set up. Now, yes, you might run into setting complicated challenges if you want to do setting, complex things. But trust me, it's just basic YAML or sometimes JSON files you have to set up. So, you have to make changes to set up your pipeline. So nothing, nothing crazy. Yep. So we're just waiting for that. And when I go to my OmniPost app service and we go to deployment center, this should start picking up, it should start picking up some information coming from our pipeline. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see what happened. So complete the log. What failed? What failed? What failed? No test specified. Yes. 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 We don't have any test. Yes. So we don't have any test in our, how do you call it? In our YAML file. So I need to modify that and take the test out for now because we don't have any test. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's go to the pipeline. Let's open this up. Okay. So let me do this. Let's go here. We're not deploying. Let's check out our environment. We have the deployment. We have the the OmniPost. Okay, so OmniPost is the default deployment. Okay, so we have production, we have development, OmniPost, and production. So yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to select this. And that was pulled from Azure because we created 2 deployment slots from Azure. So that's why we have the 2 slot environment here. So let's go to our pipeline. Let me go here and manage. Let me just manage the pipeline. So let's see everything we have here. Okay. Let's open this up. So this is the file I was talking about. So this is the Azure pipeline YAML file. Let me zoom this in so you can see and give you the full screen so I can give you a full experience. So this is it. So this is the YAML file. Now if you look at the stages, okay, so this one, the web application name is OmniPost, the environment is OmniPost, which is a production environment. This is the build stage. Now, so we're saying that we should run npm install, which is installing all the packages, and do npm what build, and then test if it's available. All right, so that that gives us all we want. So now let's come back here. So now, as you can see, we don't have any um, no deployment data here because now we're no longer using Kudu, which is the default one. We're now using Azure DevOps. So hey, let's go ahead and work some magic. So I'm going to go here to deployment. We don't have any artifacts yet, so that's fine. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's open this pipeline. Yeah, we have it here. Okay, so let's check the artifact out. We don't have anything listed here yet. Awesome. All right, so nothing has been connected. We have our source code coming in from, yeah, we okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead back to our pipeline. Okay, so now I'm going back to my Azure portal, and then we're going to make we're going to do some magic. So let's go ahead and start to build this again. And then hopefully we should be cool. Oh, thank you very much, Rotary. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Feedback is appreciated. Allows us to craft content for you. Appreciate it. Make a date with us. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to run deployment again. 856. We're going to run this again. And then okay, so let's go back here and let's review this. So where did we have the error? So the pipeline was started, Demystify run there, they didn't get any errors, and then this is where it started. So there's no test specified. Yes, this is because we don't have any test. We don't have any test in it. So what I would do to get rid of this error is I'm going to go to the build because at this point we don't have the test specified. So I'm going to open the file, from within GitHub. I can actually let me make sure that this has been committed. And then if I pull files from, let's do this again. Let's do git pull. Okay, so okay. Oh, that explains it. That explains it. So I think I chose the wrong oh yeah, yeah. Well, well. Let's see. Index. Yeah, yeah. So that's the reason why it wasn't running because yeah. Um let's take a look at this again. So I actually chose the wrong repository. Let's look at the JSON file. There wasn't any test. Yeah, and see, so because there's no test, echo error, no test specified, exit one. That still ran it the way it was supposed to. So I mean, you could clearly see that. So it causes repository. We check the dependencies. We're fine. So that was our downfall. Okay, so let's check this out. Okay, so I'm gonna make changes to it. I'm going to make some changes and call the repository, call the correct repository, so we don't have to struggle with this. Okay. All right, and then the test if it's applicable. The test that we had in here says that echo error, no test specified, you know. So this is exactly and then exit one. So that's why it's not hitting the node application. So let's do this. Let's fix this. So I will go back here, go back in here, and then let's go to the settings, enabled. Okay, so here let's go, let's look at this. This is where our artifacts are coming from. This is where it's going to be deployed to. I could add multiple tasks if I wanted to, but that's not it. So I picked the wrong, yes, I picked the wrong repository. So let me get the correct repository. And then, so it's Demystify Azure here, and then we have VS Code. No, this is not it. So I need to change. We need to change the organization. And this is just a a GitHub thing. I should have swapped the correct org and pulled files. Repositories here. Have your Pi, not this one. So that's why. So I picked a different repository, and there was different code in there. So if I open the code here for you, you can see that in here, GitHub, the repo was different. It's totally different from what we have there. So we'll just fix this. We'll fix this in a jiffy. So let's go to our repos, and then you know what? Let's look for Omni. Okay. Let me do a push here. Let me do a git push. And that should, yep, everything is up to date. So let's do git. Alright, so we are up to date. Let me check this out. Yeah, so this exactly, so this is the endpoint we are looking for. So let me copy this and let's check out. Let's go to our repo. Yep. Yep, so this is our repo. This is the URL we're looking for. This is our Git repository. All right, so this is where, so this is Demystify. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to create the pipeline for us. This is in GitHub. And now I need to make sure I'm selecting the right, I'm selecting the right repository. So let me see all the repositories I have. And let me do this. Private, 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 private. So I need to make sure that I'm actually selecting the right repo, else we're still going to go back and build in that same area. So 30 minutes ago, that's not what I was looking for. That's not what I was looking for. Okay, let's see. Let's open all the repos we have. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of repos I've actually cloned and pushed into my environment. So we have a lot going on. Let's see. Loading, 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 loading. Yep, and don't forget Tuesdays I do IoT stuff, IoT Tuesday. Um, on Friday is Functions Friday, and then today I kind of go through stuff that I'm working on, and for the next couple of sessions we're trying to build an OmniPost application, right? So let's open this and see what we have here. It's a Node application running on Linux. We're using a Visual Studio, and it's gonna ask us to log in again. And let's see. So that should validate it for us now. And what's the web app? It's still OmniPost. Validate and configure. So this pipeline, so hopefully Azure is not confused about my GitHub repos again, because if it does, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to scream so loud at it. Oh, but the strange thing is, if I did this and I did this. Oh, there are two repositories, the serverless repositories and OmniPost. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if this time it got it correct. And for the sakes of this error, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take out the whole test, you know, the whole testing from it. Or let me just leave it to run, because we'll add a test to the application. So let's see. Yeah, that's the initial commit. We save this. And yep. Yep. Okay, so now let me see. I'm just trying to be sure that this is actually the correct repository. And I think it picked the wrong repository again. It did pick the wrong repo again. I just have too many repositories. Okay, let's see. This is Demystify, GitHub Demystify. Copy this. Yep. Demystify, OmniPost, yes. Copy, yes. Okay. Okay, let's see what you're made of. Yeah, that's because it's picking the wrong pipeline. Okay, I think I would have to change my, okay, let me go to the repos and change this file. The Mystifier dev, that's it, clone, no, that's not what I want. Let's see, only post is empty, add some code, uh, not now. Yes, or import a repository. So that's what I want to do. I already have the code, so we don't need to import that. We're just going to stick to what we have, and that should be fine. So let's go to its Git. Let's go here. Let's go to our Git repo and get our source code. So what did I just work on recently? Let's see. The Demystify Azure. Great. So this is the Demystify technology. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so let's do this. So now, okay, yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is the repo I'm looking for. Let me copy the URL right here, and let me paste this here. Import. So I'm trying to pull this into Azure repos because this is getting the correct repo for me. I think I have a couple of similar repos, so it's all right. I have that. So let me see the code in here. Yep. So this is my code. Yep. This is my code. All done. Let me go ahead and set up my build. It's going to set up the pipeline. Visual Studio. This is going to ask me to authenticate again. That's because I didn't do that. Okay, so okay, and then yep. So if you're thinking of anything Azure, anything IoT, just hit me up. Yeah, and we can sort you out. We can help you with that, resources, and be watching out for our monthly meetups. That's the Accra.net user group. A bunch of dot or Microsoft related developers. So we do everything Microsoft development. We are a developer focused group. So all the development aspect of Microsoft, that's what we are focused on. So we try to have meetups on the last Saturdays of every month. So watch out for us. We also have workshops coming up, virtual workshops coming up. We also have like cloud workshops in a day coming out. So we have quite stuff going on. So make sure you join us. All right. So let's save this. And I believe that now we don't have any. I don't have any test here. So yeah, I'm quickly going to take this out. There's no test. I'll save this and just go here and say remove test script. So I'm just trying to make this change so it doesn't make the pipeline fail again. So I'll push this because we don't have any test yet, so we're fine. I'm going to push this into the repo, and then once it failed because that's just because I had not taken out that test script. So now that I've taken the test script out, we should be fine. So if we go here, I should see something come up here. So let's do git status. Yep, so now we are up and running. Now so if I do git pull, yeah, I'm up to date. And now let me rerun. Yeah, let me see. There's a commit that has just happened. Master. Yeah, just run. Yeah, so I'm running this again. Deploy. And hopefully now that I have the test script taking out, this shouldn't fail again because I had something in there. Yep. And let's refresh this. And let's quickly look at let's look at removed test script. Yeah, that's reflecting. That's cool. So now let's see. Let's sync this up. So now I'm going to have my code. Once I do the change, it comes in it as a build. So I'm now going to determine which environment it pushes it to. And once that's done, that is what we're going to do today. And then in next week's episode, what I'm going to do is that now I'm going to show you some of them. I'm going to share with you the design or the architecture that we want to use to build this, and then we can brainstorm around that. And once we agree on the design and walk you through that, I'm going to show you how to set up the project. Remember, this is a node-based application, so it's right now I'm contemplating on what front end to use. I could decide to just go a single page app with just coupling Node.js and maybe Pag or maybe EJS on the front end, or I can decide to go separate it and use maybe Angular on the front end, run Node on the back end, and then maybe we can use MongoDB or some other database on the back end. So yeah, we'll just think through that and see how that that goes. So yep. So whilst we're here, we run that. Yep. I want to rerun this. Yep. So the build. Let's open this in a new tab to see what change happened. Yeah, that's in progress. Hopefully keeping it cross. Yep. So what one build is completed. We're running. Okay. So let's go here to master. Let's see what has changed. Okay. Yep. Omni posts. So this is our repo. Let's check our commits. Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Initial commit. So set this tab. Okay, so and then the pushes that happened. Set up CI/CD pipeline. Yes. Commit. Oh, okay. So push. Yes, push your changes. That's cool. So we have that pushed. Yeah, we set up a CI/CD. We pushed this initial commit. That's 5 minutes ago. So all right. So let me go ahead into the files. Let's manage the repository. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Omnipost, the branches, the master. Yeah, we got. Is Azure DevOps free? Yes. For open source, yeah, for open source projects, it's actually for open source project, it's actually free for open source projects forever. But for production stuff, it's free for I think for up to 5 users. So if you have less than 5 users, yes, you can use it for free. If they're more than 5, you need to get some subscription. But for open source project, it's virtually free forever. I hope that answered your question. Rotary awesome. Yep, so yep, my master branch looks fine now. Yeah, so I have 3 pipelines that, yeah, the ones I did the mistakes on. So no, yeah, so definitely these pipelines would show that error. So this is the new pipeline because this was picking from a very an old pipeline. So A3FB. Let's edit this. This is not what we're pulling from. So enabled pause. No, it's enabled. We want it to be enabled. So yep. Yeah. So triggers are the actions that call for the builds to run. All right. So we'll not add that in today's episode. So yep. Today we're trying to get our pipes build running. Okay. So let's go to pipeline. So omnipost. Which one is the first one? CI master triggered. Yeah, manually triggered. Uh, Let me go to the repo. Let's check this out. So the history. changed, added new feature, welcome. Yeah, that's fine. Content, upload files. Okay, so our commits. So our commits are not showing. Set up CI/CD, that's correct. Our last commit was we removed the welcome Rotary, awesome, welcome. So yes, you can use it for your, your open source project or side project. Yes, you can use that. Yep. So we changed that. Let's see if we have any pull request. We don't have any pull request. We don't have any tags. We don't have any branches. Yep. So let's look at our pushes. Change welcome message. Yeah, so these are the ones that are coming. Okay, so that looks like um, let me do this. Hopefully I have that. Yes, I have that repo added. Okay, so awesome. Let's see, create, no, we're not creating a new repo. Manage the repository we have now. Azure DevOps group, we don't have that, so that's fine. Omni post, all tags, all branches, yep, that's fine. Okay, so let's look at where is that? So there's a project, let's look here. It's a public project, we're using bots, we're using all that. Yeah, just making sure that we have, everything set up correctly. We'll come back to this. Let's look at our team conversation. So, yeah, we'll set this up in next week's episode, but right now we just want to get all that going. So, GitHub connections. Yeah, so I'm going to connect this. That could be a reason why. So, yeah, there we go, there we go, there we go. Request. Oh, yeah, Demystify Azure Grant. Now I'm going to enter this password, so I need to hide this from you guys. Hey, my phone knowing. I need to do so. I have MFA multi-factor authentication enabled on my GitHub. So yeah, we need to do this. So yep, so that is granted. Demystify technologies, I can grant this as well, and then authorize. So let's come back here. So with this, with authorization now, this is where I want to go to, and this is what I was looking for. So save this and approve. So now I've given Azure bots and DevOps access to my GitHub to pull from OmniPost. So now when the business. So project configurations. Yeah, all the iterations and all that. So I'm going to go back now to my pipeline, and this time around, let's check this out. So let's do this. We come here, 6 commits. Let's check this out. So this might not include the changes we did before because we have not pulled this in. So I'm going to discard. I'm actually going to the repos here, and I'm just going to check to make sure that we had yes. Okay, so see, so this one still has the script. So that's why we're having that error because we made the change and removed that script out. So we need to change that. So let's do this. I'm going back here. Actually, you know what? Let's just now that I have that out of the way, let me just create that just to show this. So we have a GitHub, and because now that I've connected it, that should actually push that. Where is that? Demystify, 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 demystify. Demystify. Let's see. Let's go here. Okay, let's add this from here. So yep, we have our repos. This looks fine. Okay, so let's see this. Project details. So let me copy this. I'm just going to kill this for a moment. And then we would push that back here. It's a public. And then let's create this. It's just to get rid of all the other, you know. Yep, so we have this and yep. Okay, so now we're not going to do anything but let's go to the repos and I'm going to import a repository, and this time around I'm going to make sure that I got the correct repo. So that is the Demystify. Yeah, this is it. This is the repository I'm looking for. Copy this. Oh, let's close this. Yep, so this is what we're looking for. Import. And that is because for now in that repo I know that I have modified the package.json file not to include any test. So this should build successfully. Alright, so the import is successful. Click here to navigate into the code. So we have the code here. And just once again, just to be sure, so we can open this up. We don't have any test script here. That's fine. So I can come back and now set up the build. So let's close this and close this. It's a Node application running on Express, Visual Studio subscription. Select that, yes, do that. So it requires authorization. That makes it, you know, quite easy for. It's a security thing, you know. And then we do that. And it's authorizing. We're going to select the application we want to use it for. And it's omnipost validate and configure. So setting the whole pipeline, all right, for our omnipost application. I can give you a hint. I know that we're going to be using Node.js. We might use Angular or React. I'm not sure yet. Maybe we can just use Angular. I'm going to use a couple of Node modules to do that. Yep. So this is done, and I can decide to say, you know what, I don't want to run the test. You know, just if I don't want to run it, I can say, hey, I don't want to run the test, and then save and run. So let's save this and run, and this should create a build process and a deployment process for us. All right, so the job is pending, keeping our fingers crossed. And one thing you need to know, some of us have come a long way in terms of, you know, programming, development, and all that. It is never a smooth road or picture perfect situation. You would have situations where code is going to break, code is not going to work, and you have to figure it out. So don't be timid or don't be shy or don't be afraid when code break. It's actually a good thing to help you understand what's going on. So nothing to worry about. There's no fulfillment in not breaking the code and fixing it, because you get fulfilled when the code is fixing. You're like, yeah, all right. So as you can see, we can artifacts are being done, we've been downloaded, node modules have been run. So if you look at the deployment steps, the job has been initialized. We have downloaded our artifact. It's finishing the download. It's now deploying to Omnipost, and it's running. It's running. It's running. Yeah, script is done. Uh, Now, so this happens a lot. This deployment thing happens. I tried this the very first time, and it would fail just because there probably a lot of build processing happening. Rerun the same thing again, and the build will pass. So this is not new to me at all. So this I know, it's just one of those issues that we face. So that is how you set up your DevOps connected to Azure. Have your code in how do you call it? You can have your code in GitHub, bring it in, and hey, you'll be fine. So here, if I just rerun, I'm just going to run the field jobs again. This like happens. It's just going to run everything again, and you realize that at the end of the day, this is going to succeed. So yeah. So I'm not the least worried about it at all, at all. So that is how to add Azure DevOps to your application, and that's how to also create deployment slots and switch or flip them. Now, I would encourage you to make a day with me next Tuesday for IoT Tuesday if you can, or Friday for Functions Friday. Else, catch me next week, same time, Sunday, GMT 8 p.m. or 20:00 hours, where we're going to continue from here, defining architecture, and then starting to add modules and defining how the application is going to look like. So until then, don't forget, please subscribe to the channel so if there's any upload you get it. Don't forget to check out our car.net user group. We have great stuff going on. We are embarking on a re-registration program, which means that we want to get people's what people are interested in. We want to understand what people want so we can craft specific or tailored workshops and seminars for you guys. So until we connect again next week, always remember, learn something new every day, share something, touch a life, just make a difference. Till then, this has been Demystify Technology with Sam. Catch you next week.